Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. Not sure where the dogs are. Must not be connected. It's like when I log in, it switches to a different. Why am I connected? No, I'm on the right one, but I don't know. I think I'd have to reopen. But the dog camera isn't working currently. Hey, thanks up there to Kelly Snyder. Feels kind of dark light in here. Hold on. All right. Now it's too dark. Hold on. Oh, God. My rotator cuff is messed up. Sucks. Just like that. Just hurts like hell. Just. I gotta update that bot there. Do you guys want me to try to go get the I used to be a swimmer. Swimming isn't going to help my arm. I think if I do the... do you guys want me to try to get the dog camera working again? Do you care? Or? Okay, hold on. Hey, it worked. All right. That's pretty cool. Like, is she like looking right at the camera or something? the hell's she doing? That's crazy. Look at that. I know my shoes are really, they make a loud noise. It's weird. Like Skechers, like. Now let me ask you guys something. You know, I hardly ever just do like live streams. I want to do more for like the channel members, you know. That's something that I wanted to do. It just seems like I never have a lot of time. But what do you think would be cool to do in the like you know, members only live streams? What do you guys think? You know, I mean, other people have members only stuff. I don't know what they do in them because I'm not a member to anybody else's YouTube channel or anything. You guys there? No, my shoulder's been like this for a while. I mean, swimming you'd think would help it, but it's just you know, that was when I was a kid. I swam all the time when I was up until about like 14 or something. For the little babies. Oh, thanks, Ginger Keys. Yeah. Members only, everything, what? I mean, that's it? I mean, that would just be members only streams, and there'd be no, well, you wouldn't be able to get other people to join, you know, so. I mean, if I had like 20,000 paid channel members, I would probably do that. Well, we already do mod meetings sometimes. You mean like do a live stream and they come up on a panel, something like that? Moderators, I don't know if they'd want to do that. Half of them don't like to be on camera even in the mod meeting. So I don't know. Be good for when you need to have a group. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't you guys have something more entertaining as a mod in a mod meeting? I mean, members only live. I mean, if I had something where it was, I wish I could go back in time and like change out the low tier, you know, on the channel memberships and just have one level, you know, like $4.99 and that's it, you know. That'd be kind of a cool way to do it. And maybe have one really high one for special things. The strange encounters? What do you mean? That's right, Sarah Beth. Panels. God. What's the lure to panels when you have, like, I mean, other than if it's some functional thing like, hey, everybody, meet these people. Oh, like UFOs? Well, I did have I actually, a while back, I made a whole folder on a UFO case, you know. There was a Netflix on it, so I went and looked it up. Oh, no way. I could never do members only for politics. I'd lose half of them. Take us on an adventure. Yeah, like get in my car and do like a live stream or something, or I don't know, I'd like to have like an MRI of my shoulder just so they could tell me what it is. It just sort of started getting bad lately. Not before cornhole. Cornhole doesn't use your shoulder really. You flip it from below, like you're just tossing somebody something. You don't throw it like from back here like a baseball. Oh yeah? Live stream with Blue and Chloe, huh? And just chat about whatever. That'd be cool. That wouldn't be too difficult to do. Yeah. Blue's getting kind of old. I don't know. I thought of doing something like that one time, but oh yeah, where everybody else can go up on a panel and say, "Here's my pet." I just don't want it to be something where like somebody comes up on the panel with their pet and they're up there for an hour, and then there's like 19 people with pets and everybody's talking over everybody. Something like that, I guess. I don't know. Figure it out. All right, well, time to get to the case. I don't really know. I haven't looked any of these places up on map yet. Alright, so the Nikki Cheng, it's actually like Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain, but it's easier just to say Nikki Cheng. So this is just like this first thing that came out. 39-year-old Nikki Cheng McCain was last seen on Friday, May 17th. Redding Police Department. That's it. That's all there was in this post right there. I mean, it's almost the same day as that. So a really quick blurb. Then it says, I mean, I'm sure there's, you know, we can get into more details on a different show or something, but yeah. What are you saying? True crime trivia. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, well, people have suggested that for a long time, Gummo. I mean, you know, Danielle actually sort of made some slides at one time, but they were really kind of simple stuff, like, you know, Chris Watts and you know, really easy, you know, so it's not something new. Mm-hmm. True Crime Jeopardy. Who is... I don't know. Do they have a... is it out there somewhere? Is it out there? Well, you said pretty much what you said a couple days ago, Gummo. I don't know where Danielle is. She got a dog. Maybe she's like pretty interested in it. you know. She spends a lot of time with their dog. I don't know. I actually don't know where she is. Where have you read his writings at, Will? I mean, he's got a book, but he took it off of Amazon. He wanted to make some edits to it. You know, he was like, he thought he was like speaking for Native Americans in a certain segment, and he felt like it was cultural appropriation. I mean, I was just like, Grant, Jesus, come on. Just, you know, but anyways, he wrote it. He's writing. He said it's better the way he wrote it. Changed it, and he'll probably republish it, but come on. I mean, it's on Earth's altar. Yeah, but where would you get the book, Will? It's not available. Hey, thanks, Alley Cat. Really put your guys' names on there, by the way. Alley Cat, adding from yesterday. We have Ginger Keys. And Kelly Snyder.
Love GHI.
Alright, all caught up now. It's on Wattpad website. Huh. Cool. The whole book or the original? Well, no, if you have to be a member that we're talking about what we do on member live streams, Timothy Cecil. So, yes, while everybody's welcome here, the trivia would be on our members-only live streams. That's what we were talking about. See, Nikki looks much younger than her age. Yeah. Anyways, can I get going on this, or? Alright, the Reading Police Department is asking for the public's assistance in locating a missing woman. The RPD said 39-year-old Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain was last seen in contact with family members on May 17th. Loved ones released their own missing person flyer seeking help locating her. They said she has a tattoo on her left forearm, and they said they're offering a reward to help find her. Yeah, I can't really make that one out, but it says, did you see Nikki's light pewter metallic 2002 Chevy Avalanche? And they did find it, actually, after May 18th. So I guess what they're saying is after she disappeared, because they found it at a different time. The RPD said it's also seeking any information about her 2002 Chevrolet Avalanche with California license plate. Anyone with information is to call phone at 530-225-4200. I know it's there, but that's Amazon. Anyways, the community unites in first large-scale search for mother of four, Nikki Saelee-McCain. The local community came together for the first official large-scale search for 39-year-old mother of four, Nikki Cheng. I'll just go Nikki Cheng, who has been missing for 2 weeks with no known sightings of her. The search took place at 9 a.m. Friday on Bauman Road, the location where her car was discovered on Saturday, according to information released by Shasta County Sheriff's Office this Thursday, 6 days after her vehicle was discovered. Yeah, so they actually found her vehicle, but she wasn't in it. Members of the public searched through the South Fork Cottonwood Creek. Let's see. So this is in Tehama County, California. Let's see. Seems like I already had a folder of it. Let's make a new one. Thursday, Bauman Road. Is that Cottonwood? I don't know where, let's see. Cottonwood. It was Cottonwood Road, right? Or it was Bauman Road. There's a lot of Bauman roads in California. How about Cottonwood Creek? Then maybe if I said Bauman Road. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to do that later. I'll figure it out. Members of the public searched through the South Fork Cottonwood Creek, hiked into the wildlands inside of abandoned buildings and in abandoned car lots in the area. Her 4 siblings say that Nikki was a vibrant personality and are surprised about her disappearance. Nikki is a very caring person. She wouldn't have left. She would not have disappeared on her own. This is very, very out of character for her. This is why it's very urgent that we find her. Nikki was last seen by her family on May 17th, according to NorCal Alliance for the Missing. She was reportedly picked up from a residence near the Wind River Casino in Redding, where she may have been later dropped off at her home on Olinda Road in Anderson. Okay, so let's see. According to NorCal Alliance for the Missing, she was reportedly picked up from a residence near the Wind River Casino in Redding. Alright, let's just put that in there. Okay, so picked up at a residence near here, we'll say. So maybe just oh, and as always, you guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel that allows me to keep doing these shows and allows us to do a lot of great things, you know, during the month, each month, every month, and I could use your support. So thank you very much. Near Wind River Resort. was on the 17th. Where she may have been later dropped off at her home in on Olinda Road in Anderson. Okay. Olinda Road, Anderson, California. So it's not too far away, just a little bit down here. So she lived up in here somewhere? Here, I'm gonna look her up. Is she 41 years old? How old is she? Missed that part. $39. How about just McCain, I guess, is what it would be, the middle net with a C in the middle, I guess. Okay, so this is, her real name is probably Nicole then, right? But now that doesn't really... That might be it. I doubt it, though. Come on. It's loading up. No, that's not the right one. Wow, that's weird. I guess she doesn't have a address that I can look up. But anyways, we're in the right area, regardless. Nikki was last seen by her family on May 17th. According to NorCal Alliance for the Missing, she was reportedly picked up from a residence near the Wind River Casino in Redding, where she may have been later dropped off at her home on Olinda Road in Anderson, though these details are still being investigated. Nikki's family says they have requested video camera footage from the Wind River Casino, but have not been granted any access. We've reached out to the Redding Rancheria, who say they are unaware if any video footage exists, saying they are cooperating with law enforcement. Chloe, Sally, Nikki's sister, described Nikki as someone who can uplift people with her kind and humorous spirit. She's thoughtful, she's very caring, she loves her family, she loves her friends, she has a lot of family and friends who care a lot about her. Even if someone was having a bad day, she knows how to lift your spirits. A concerned citizen, Kathleen Decker, believes action should have been taken sooner. We're out here just trying to show our support as someone out there and they have any if somebody's out there and they have any information, let's get this woman home. Let's get her home to her family. We should have taken action a long time ago. Becker also wishes there were more details available about Nikki's investigation. We need to tighten down the reins and see what type of an investigation is done. It would be more helpful to have more information, and we're just out here blindsided. We have reached out to the Shasta County Sheriff's Office and have asked if there are any leads on a suspect. They said there are no further details being released at this time due to the ongoing investigation. Nikki Cheng McCain has brown hair and brown eyes. She's about 5 feet tall, weighing about 100 pounds. Any information regarding this case is needed at this time. All right. There's that one.
Good evening. Glad to have you with us on the North States News at 5:30. I'm Mike Mangus. A Reading woman, 39-year-old Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain, has been missing for almost 2 weeks. The North States News' Sophia Bruinsma is here with us with some new developments in the search. Sophia.
Mike, it's been 13 days since Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain has gone missing. Reading police say she was last in contact with her family members on May 17th. Law enforcement and members of the community have been searching for any clues of her, such as her car, which was recently just located in Tehama County. The Tehama County Sheriff's Office log states the Chevy Avalanche was in the area off Bowman Road near a bridge. It was found on Saturday, but Nikki wasn't. According to NorCal Alliance for the Missing, she was picked up on May 18th at a home next to Wynn River Casino in Reading and may have been dropped off at her home on Olinda Road in Anderson. So far, there have been no known sightings of Nikki. Her family is offering a $10,000 reward to anybody who can find her. Nikki is 39 years old and a mother of 4, standing at about 4'11" and 110 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Nikki also has a black left forearm tattoo with a rose design. If anybody has any more information about her whereabouts, please contact the Shasta County Sheriff's Major Crimes Unit at 530-245-6135. Sophia Bruinsma, the North States News.
Oh, there you go. Hey, thanks, Spud Smith, for upgrading. The SCSO says the truck was found on Saturday, May 25th in western Tehama County. Deputies are still actively looking for Saelee-McCain. McCain is described by officials as being 4'11" and 110 pounds. I thought it was 5 feet 100. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Family members released their own missing person flyer seeking help locating her. And they're saying in western. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so it's in this county. And then what was the name of that road that we had earlier? Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley gifted a membership. All right. I'll just have to go back to that first one now. Or was it this one? Okay, they're looking for that. I think it's in this one. The search took place at 9 Friday on Bauman Road, the location where her car was discovered on Saturday. Okay, so Bauman Road. Let's see if we can narrow this down. So we just got it in this. There's got to be a Bauman Road inside of here. Is that right? Okay, this could be it. If it's in, that's... Oh, it is in, looks like it's in the county, so that's got to be it, right? I mean, there isn't another Bauman Road in that county. It is west. I mean, it's not way west. I mean, so how far does Bauman Road go here? Okay, that's still Bauman Road. Bauman, 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 and then it, I think that's it. So we'll just put like a pin over here. Her car was found. Car found on Bauman Road. Oops, can't put it there. So her car is way out here. She lived here, and then she was picked up from Wind River Resort at a residence near there. It was supposed to be maybe taken home, and she lived on this road. I'm sure the name of the house is probably after her husband. I think we just did this one, right? That's not it. Okay, we did that. I think next one was this one. Search for a missing Reading woman continues.
New at 6, a missing woman's husband accused of false imprisonment and assault. 18 days. That is how long it's been since Nikki Saelee-McCain last spoke to her family. Now, Action News Now reporter Camila Acevedo shows us where this investigation stands right now.
Tyler McCain, the husband of missing woman Nikki Saelee-McCain, was in court today on assault charges. The Washoe County recorder Tyler McCain, the husband of
stands right now.
Tyler McCain, the husband of missing woman Nikki Saelee-McCain, was in court today on assault charges. The Washoe County Recorder's Office in Reno confirmed that the two are married. They also share children. The Shasta County District Attorney's Office told me McCain was in court today for a settlement conference to set trial dates. He's charged with corporal injury to spouse or child's parent, plus felony false imprisonment by violence, felony criminal threats, and felony assault by means of force likely to produce great bodily injury. Meanwhile, Nikki is still missing. This is the poster that you might have seen all over social media. And I had the chance to speak to Nikki's half-sister, as well as a family friend of theirs, on this search to bring her home.
Nikki, sweet, big heart. She will always make your day happy. No matter what it is, you're having a bad day, she's always there for you. Always, always. She just doesn't just go missing like this.
You know, without her, I think, you know, they all have a piece of their heart that's empty.
Nikki is described as 4'11" tall and weighing 110 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. Most recently, her 2002 Chevy Avalanche with California license plate DP154UT was located in western Tehama County. There was a community search in the area the vehicle was located, but Nikki was not found.
It's just hard to explain that place. Like, why would that car be there?
Working alongside the family is NorCal Alliance for the Missing. Founder Trudy Nickens says the alliance is spreading word about Nikki's disappearance on social media and monitoring the hotline, even offering a reward for any new information. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office Avalanche with California license plate DP in western Tehama located, but Nikki was not found.
It's just hard to explain that place. Like, why would that car be there?
Working alongside the family is NorCal Alliance for the Missing. Founder Trudy Nickens says the alliance is spreading word about Nikki's disappearance on social media and monitoring the hotline, even offering a reward for any new information. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Tim Mapes says they cannot confirm if they are looking into the husband as a possible suspect in the disappearance. The Sheriff's Office gave me this statement saying, in part, the missing person case of Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain remains active and detectives with the Sheriff's Office Major Crimes.
I mean, they arrested him for assaulting her. Okay? So they brought him in, obviously, to, on those charges, but they also wanted to get more information from him. I'm sure he didn't speak.
Unit continued to work diligently on the investigation. Further details of steps being taken by investigators are not being released due to the integrity of the investigation.
Just if anybody out there saw anything, saw her truck from May 18th and onward, anywhere, if it was stopped at a gas station, if it was at a grocery store, it may seem small, but it may be the piece that law enforcement needs to break the case open and bring her home.
I'm feeling there's hope. She'll come home.
In Redding, I'm Camille Acevedo for Action News Now.
Yeah. I think this is Tyler McCain. He's on Anderson Road. So I'm sure that's the home that they're talking about. So let's see. Well, it's this says Olinda Road, so it's near Anderson, anyways. Let me go look at that again. Yeah, it says Anderson, California. Yeah, I guess it's Olinda Road. What road did they say? It's the same road that they said, Olinda Road. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he lives on Olinda Road in Anderson, and his house is like right there. I'm not sure if that's like his house there, and he owns this whole road, or how this works here. I wonder if they have. Oh yeah. Well, there you go. I was going to check the map. So there's July 2024. Now there's a house there. There wasn't one. Let's see, if we go back even a year, that's still there then. 2009, 12, it wasn't there. 2013, it was built. And now it's there with a bunch of cars all over the place. And there it is right there. Actually had street view on that crazy kind of random road there. Family and friends hold rally for Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain as husband appears in court. The husband of the missing woman was charged with multiple felony domestic violence crimes 6 months ago. Her family and friends surrounded him, chanting as he left court this morning. I mean, it's almost kind of obvious that he has some knowledge of what happened, right? Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain was reported missing from Redding, California nearly 6 weeks ago on May 18th. Today, her family and friends gathered at the Shasta County Courthouse to call attention to her disappearance and to raise awareness of domestic violence. Their rally was timed to coincide with the pretrial appearance of Saelee-McCain's husband, Tyler Scott McCain. He's facing multiple felony charges of domestic violence, including felony corporal injury to spouse, false imprisonment, and assault with force likely to create great bodily injury. McCain was charged on December 2nd, 5 months before his wife went missing. He pled not guilty to all charges during a May 7th hearing less than 2 weeks before she disappeared. On December 2nd, 5 months before his wife went missing. So they probably wouldn't have been living in the same home. I wonder why they... He pled not guilty, or maybe she lived there and he didn't. He pled not guilty to all charges during a May 7th hearing, less than 2 weeks before she disappeared. Oh, and you know what? It's sort of interesting how this is playing out for him. Saelee-McCain's sister, Kay Ford, said today that there may not be sufficient evidence to move the case against McCain Ford because her sister is missing and therefore unable to testify. Wow! How amazing is that? She and another of Nikki's sister, Chloe Saelee, called on the public to continue searching. They hope to locate their sister before her husband returns to court on July 5th. And then here's July 5th. Charges dismissed. Let me do that again. Yeah, there it is. Charges dismissed against... I don't know how to get this off. Let me see if I turn the pause. Will that work?
But first, tonight, a Shasta County mother of 4 is missing as her husband faced domestic violence charges that today were dismissed. Supporters gathered at the Capitol today and Shasta County Courthouse demanding answers and attention to the case. ABC 10's Becca Hobegger brings us the details tonight.
Supporters of 39-year-old Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain rallied outside the Capitol Friday.
Nikki has been missing since May 18th. It's already been 49 days without her. Her kids need her.
Rally co-organizer and family friend Kay Saturn says as a mom herself, Nikki's case hits home.
I can only imagine what it is to be her kids right now, not knowing where their mom is.
Nikki was last seen by her family members May 17th. In the early hours of May 18th, a text from her phone told family she was driving her mother's-in-law vehicle back to their home near the Wind River Casino.
Probably wasn't from
She
her.
hasn't been heard from since, though her Chevy Avalanche was found in neighboring Tehama County a week later. She disappeared 2 weeks before Nikki's husband of more than a decade and father of her children, Tyler McCain, was due in court to face 4 felony domestic violence charges. Last December, according to Shasta County Sheriff's Office documents, Nikki checked into a Redding hospital with severe injuries. She told the investigator that Tyler had bound and beaten her over the course of 3 hours at their home just outside Anderson 2 nights earlier. She went to her sister's house in Redding and eventually filed a police report.
Tyler, where's Nikki? Where's Nikki? Tyler, where's my sister?
That's Nikki's sister confronting Tyler last week outside the Shasta County Courthouse. In the latest court hearing Friday, we learned a Shasta County judge dismissed the case against McCain at the district attorney's request. In a statement, the DA's office says it's because the victim, Nikki McCain, has still not been located, and her presence at this point in time is necessary to move forward with this case.
Wow, it worked
The DA's
exactly how
office
we
has
wanted it.
exhausted all avenues to prove the case at this time without her, adding the DA's office reserves all rights to refile this case in the future.
I don't want to get emotional, I'm sorry. It's just so hard because we feel like we're so powerless. We can't find her. We know that Tyler knows where she's at.
McCain's attorney has declined several requests for comment, including one Friday from our ABC affiliate in Redding.
Because, you know, the victim just conveniently disappeared.
Oh, that's where I turn it off. That guy's nuts. All right, anyways, here we go. Supporters rally for missing Redding woman Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain. Demonstrators rallied in front of the Shasta County Superior Court. I mean, basically, this lady, you know, she disappeared, and she's a victim of extreme domestic violence. The person who beat her was due in court again, and he, you know, I mean, just 2 weeks before he was in court also. And he was gonna, you know, he's supposed to be in court again, and he has her, you know, obviously did something to her to make her disappear so that she can't testify against him, and he's feeling really secure in where he put her. That's what I think. And this is one of those really obvious cases here. She didn't just go take off or anything like that. Well, if they had strong family ties, wouldn't they be able to get the security camera footage, which they were denied, from the casino itself? I bet you she was never even at the casino. I think the whole text message, oh, I'm driving somebody else's car, was totally bogus, in my opinion. Or are you saying on his side? Like that's why they're not getting information, is because they're protecting him. Yeah, well, I could see that. I just said that, yeah. Yeah, I beat her for 3 hours. Crazy. Nikki Cheng Saelee-McCain, a 39-year-old woman, mysteriously disappeared on May 18, 2024. She was reportedly picked up from a residence near Wind River Casino in Redding, California, and may have been later dropped off at her home on Olinda Road. That's the same home, you know, her husband has that address. I mean, she might too, and maybe he's had to leave there. Despite efforts, there have been no confirmed sightings of her since that day. Nikki is 5 feet tall, weighs 100 pounds, and has brown eyes and brownish red hair. Details about Nikki's truck that was found on May 24th in Tehama County, California. Light pewter metallic 2002 Chevy Avalanche. They're trying to get people who remember seeing it. Disabled parking plate, license plate number. Harley Davidson decal across the back window. The left side cab trim is missing. The left rear quarter panel trim is melted. Did you see her truck between May 17th and May 24th? If you have any information, please contact Shasta County Major Crimes Unit. And call 530-245-6135. Yeah, really isn't much to the story other than, I mean, it's just so obvious. Like, where did he put her is really the question, right? And if it's, you know, if the tribe's doing something to keep information from being out there, there's absolutely nothing anybody can do about it. They're a sovereign nation, and they're, you know, how it works in there. You can't do a damn thing. It's reading some of the comments. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you're able to help the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, which is my channel that allows me to keep doing these shows on a nightly basis, and just generally help support the channel and all the things that we do, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And that's the vehicle there. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got for that one. You know. Hey, thanks. 8675309. She said, wave? I thought she had like 3 or 4 kids, doesn't she? I'm just not really sure what else there is to do on the case. It's one of those ones where, well, you know all the circumstances. Oh yeah, I do have another part here. This part's interesting. I got this earlier today. I was looking at this on the Find Nikki page. It said Brian McCain, that's his brother, Tyler's brother, had girlfriend, fiance who committed suicide at Brian's grandmother Sandy's house, who lives across the street from the house Nikki went missing from. The sister of Brian's girlfriend, fiance, has tried to find justice for her beloved sister for years. Hey, thanks Spud Smith and Plato and Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. The sister has medical record and police reports that support that Brian McCain abused her sister. I mean, to me, it's a story about how it's like it runs in the family. Hey, thanks, Michelle H. I don't know what that means, though. I have no idea. The McCain brothers are professional criminals.
Ocean wave.
God.
Ocean wave.
All right, this is some longer item thing that was written. I am Jennifer's sister, Brian McCain's fiance at the time she died. So the sister of Brian McCain's fiance. She died at the home of somebody named Sandy, who lives directly across the street from Jeanette. Her cause of death was listed as a suicide, but no one from my family believes that was the case. None of our grandparents are alive, so I'm unsure of what was claiming to be her grandma and commenting on threads. My parents did hire
Ocean
a
wave.
PI.
Ocean wave. Ocean wave.
Thanks, Michelle H. My parents did hire a PI,
Ocean wave.
and nothing came from it because access was denied. I was the only one who had permission to step onto Jeanette's property to pick up my sister's belongings, which consisted of 3 white trash bags of old dirty clothes, a purse without a wallet, and a few pairs of old shoes. Jeanette called me hours after her death to inform me. After asking only a few questions, I was kicked off her property and started receiving threats from Jeanette and her then fiance, Stan Stroud. There was years of domestic violence between Brian and my sister. I have kept to myself during this time, as I didn't want people to think I am using these platforms for Nikki to obtain anything for what happened to my sister. After Nikki went missing, I have received a lot of DMs from tribal members, Nikki's family, and previous significant others of the people involved telling me that they know Jennifer's death was not suicide. All this breaks my heart. It makes me sick for Nikki and her family. I will tell our story to anyone that asks, but I will not use Nikki's platform for anything other than trying to find her. Well, you just did, though, right? For my sister, it is too late, but Nikki is still out there. I mean, I think it's okay. You don't need to keep making excuses for putting it there because it might be related somehow. And this is like back in time here. This is September 19, 2020. A Reading man was arrested on Friday after causing thousands of dollars in damages and breaking windows of 5 locations in downtown Reading. Around 2:55 p.m. Friday afternoon, the Reading Police Department responded to reports of someone throwing rocks and breaking windows into downtown Reading. Officers found Brian McCain, 40, of Reading on Cypress Avenue. McCain was positively identified by multiple witnesses as being responsible. According to RPD, McCain claimed he was attempting to bring awareness to a family member so the family member would pay for a rehabilitation program for McCain's methamphetamine addiction. McCain was booked into the Shasta County Jail on 4 counts of felony vandalism. There's a 5th vandalism case still under investigation. So there's that one, then there's this one here. This one's from March of 2021. A wanted man who made death threats led deputies on a foot chase in Redding Friday morning, according to Shasta County Sheriff's Office. 40-year-old Brian McCain, a wanted felon, had threatened to kill everyone at the Wind River Casino in a phone call with Holly Bale, bonds around 8:20 a.m. In a phone call with Holly Bale. Threatened to kill everyone at the Wind River Casino. Isn't that interesting? The same casino. He had also threatened to kill family members inside his home on the 1900 block of Redding Rancheria Road. The manager of Holly Bale Bonds told the sheriff's office. Those threats prompted a multiple agency response that included a CHP helicopter circling overhead. When authorities arrived, McCain was alone inside the home since the family left because they felt unsafe. Deputies used a loudspeaker in an attempt to get McCain to surrender. Shortly after, CHP helicopter spotted him going out the back door, then running along a canal towards another neighborhood. The foot chase ended when deputies caught McCain in a backyard on the 1800 block of Red Bank Road. McCain was arrested and booked into the Shasta County Jail on charges of resisting arrest and on his felony warrant. The Shasta County Sheriff's Office was familiar with McCain and has received numerous recent calls for service concerning reports of him shooting a rifle inside a residence, threats to harm Wind River Casino staff, statements of suicide by cop, and reports of him walking around the casino property with firearms and knives. McCain also had an active felony warrant out in Tehama County for violently resisting an officer. Man, couldn't they have just got him to sort of do this? The California Highway Patrol, Airship, and Cal Fire law officer assisted deputies when they arrived outside the residence at 1961 Redding Rancheria Road, Redding, located behind the Wind River Casino. Deputies met with the family and they reported McCain was continuing to act erratic inside the residence, and they left the residence because they did not feel safe around him. Deputies attempted to call McCain out of the residence using the public announcement speaker from a patrol vehicle. After multiple calls for McCain to exit the residence and surrender peacefully, he was spotted by the CHP airship overhead, running out of the back of the residence, away from deputies, along a canal and towards a residential neighborhood. Deputies gave chase and located McCain in the backyard of a residence on the 1800 block of Red Bank Road. Once located, McCain was held at gunpoint but continued to be, and I'm not sure, oh, there it is. To be, I'll take that, look at that. A block of Red Bank Road. Once located, McCain was held gunpoint but continued to be non-compliant with deputies. When additional deputies arrived on the scene, McCain became compliant and was taken into custody without further incident. That doesn't sound like the greatest guy in the world. Let's see what this one was.
We now know who caused the fire on Olinda Drive in Anderson that saw nearby homes evacuated and hundreds of acres burned. The North States News' Max Tedford is live out at the property where it started. Max, what did you learn today?
Maybe she's out on her property. On the property, he was trying to burn it.
Well, Glenn, we now know that the fire was started here by a car left running at this property on Olinda Road. And we now have confirmed that both the car that caused the fire and this property are owned by Tyler McCain, husband of the missing Nikki Saelee-McCain.
Jeez.
McCain approached me today while I was filming the damage left behind by the fire, sharing he was cited for it. He told me he just bought a car to fix up and had left it running for a few minutes while he went to get something inside. When he returned, he says the fire was ignited. He did allow me on the property to film the damage. I spoke with a neighbor of his named Charles, who asked us not to show his face, but shared while his home was safe, many of his neighbors were threatened by the fire.
Everybody's fired up. We know we want immediate justice. We know we want the other case to be solved. There's aggressions behind it, but there is due process. There is things that we have to wait on.
I asked CAL FIRE representatives why this fire resulted in a citation, whereas a fire like the Hidden Fire ended up with an arrest. They share they have to have enough evidence to prove a level of criminal negligence necessary for an arrest, something they say was not present in this case.
While no homes were damaged overall, Hey everyone, it's Max Tedford. I'm back out along Olinda Road in the 1700 block where that fire supposedly started yesterday. Now, we just learned this morning from CAL FIRE officials, reaching out to them to get more information about this, that someone was cited for being part of causing this fire. Now, to what extent they caused it and what circumstances still aren't clear. So it's important to remember CAL FIRE can, cite you for accidentally causing a fire as much as purposely causing a fire. But, here at the 1700 block, specifically at this property, we know it's listed on white pages under a 39-year-old Tyler McCain. And so we're still waiting for more information on what exactly happened. But, looking at the damage, you can see a number of cars are totally burned out, totally destroyed. It seems that firefighters did a good job creating a fire line. So the house itself is not damaged. I don't know if you guys can see that in the background there. I'll turn a little bit so you guys can see there. But yeah, so the house isn't damaged. All these cars here got burned out. There's some wooden structures, sheds, things like that are behind this these trees and this tree line right here. Those have a lot of damage. Those see fire damage. So there is definitely some damage, and I'm seeing fire crews, things like that, patrol the area. I've seen at least 3 or 4 pass by me over the last 10-15 minutes that I've been here, going through, checking for hot spots, making sure this is totally out. But sky is totally clear of smoke. We know those evacuation orders have all been dropped down to warnings. So it really seems things, at least on the fire sense of it, is under control. CAL FIRE's on scene and patrolling the area. They've got hotspot crews going around making sure there aren't those hot spots. There's not going to be any reignition. And so it seems, as far as we've heard, the only really structural and material damage seems to be centered on this property, which is listed on white pages under a 39-year-old Tyler McCain. So, we saw a lot of law enforcement here investigating things yesterday. I estimated about 20 to 30 different law enforcement members, patrolling and walking through this property while the fire was going, while flames were burning. Those people were numbered from the sheriff's office, a group called the Neighborhood Patrol Unit, the CAL FIRE's investigation unit, and the sheriff's office were all here, and they were all participating in, it seems, some sort of investigation. And it seems there was some fruition to it, as for those just joining us, we heard this morning from CAL FIRE, somebody was cited for causing this fire. Now, we still don't know the identity. CAL FIRE says more information around all that is going to be released later today once they have a full report typed out. But yeah, so, we've got a CAL FIRE crew member you can see kind of coming down the road here. Like I said, they've just been patrolling this area. Ooh, almost lost the camera there. They've just been patrolling this area over the last, I'm guessing, over the night and through this morning, making sure no hot spots pop up, that this fire doesn't reignite. But yeah, so someone was cited. We do know that. We don't know exactly the cause. And it is important to remember that you can be cited for a number of reasons if you had any hand in causing the fire, whether that's through negligence or, purposeful lighting of a fire. We just had that recently where someone was dragging a trailer that sparked, and they were cited. And so that's not this fire, of course, but, it's important to remember that there's a lot of reasons people can be cited in these fires. But we do know someone has been, the investigation did find someone was at fault in some way. So we know this property is listed to.
Okay, anyways, yeah, so he fire happened over there. Yeah, I think, it does, actually, I think it was just started by a car. It's like, what, once the fire department got there, you'd find a body or something, if there was a body. I don't know what, sounds suspicious, but like, what, it just seems it would seem almost ludicrously stupid if you had a body there. to do that. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Nikki. But anyways, I'm gonna switch cases now. I don't have much more to say. I don't know. I think it's just people. I mean, it just, you know, I guess he could have started a fire and then burned. It doesn't make sense to me. You know, doesn't make sense. When the fire department got there, they would have found something. I mean, it's definitely possible he was there to burn something, but doesn't make a lot of sense. I know it makes the story more interesting to think that, but. I don't know, Rob. I don't think it was started for anything. I mean, it could have been. I mean, it sounds kind of weird. Oh, I was leaving my car running and it started a fire. I mean, how many times have you heard that in your life? Like 0? So I don't know. I mean, it could be that he set it on fire, but it seems like the fire department was out there really fast, and you know, maybe it's like a head fake. You know, they're looking there, but he's doing something somewhere else. You know, he wanted to make it look like, hey, oh, look, he was trying to hide something. They're going to spend all this time looking there, and he's somewhere else. It's absolutely ridiculous if he was. I mean, this must be like their property, like a lot of this maybe, back in here somewhere. You know, something like that. What do you mean, Rob? Yeah, you can burn leaves and stuff in the fall, but I'm sure there's places you can't really ever start a fire unless it's well controlled because it's always dry. Yeah. Let's see. Doctor's appointment now. Take care. Doctor's appointment? What, do you live in Hawaii or something, Spud? Or you must live in Hawaii. Is that right? Or you live in like Russia somewhere. You know, way out there in the far east. Right, and he starts a fire, and then what? I mean, then they come and put the fire out, and there she is, or what would be the point of the? Oh, like it's trying to get rid of scent dog. Maybe, yeah, okay, I see. Maybe something like that, covering something up. Like maybe he put a body in a trunk of one of the vehicles that's now there, and I mean, look how many vehicles he has, and so he set. That car that he set on fire might have actually had a decomposition scent. Okay, that kind of makes sense there. If that's something he would have done. Yeah. So one of these cars back here. Let's say he used one of those to put her body somewhere. You know, and then he sets a fire, and maybe even the car that he's pretending was, oh, I was going to fix up this car, although he does do that. You can see there's tons of cars right there. You know, fixing up these cars, but he used that exact car to transport her, and then he goes, oh, look at it, caught on fire, and then, you know, burns the vehicles down to a point where a dog couldn't really scent on the vehicle anymore. Something like that. Yeah, that could be something like that. I could buy that. Was it mentioned their children are still with him? I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to move off to a different case now, right? This one's, there's really just kind of dead in the water. She's missing. He did it. It's obvious, right? You know, even if the kids are with him, you know, okay, you know, that's just the way that things are, I guess. It sucks. You know, it's just the same thing in many cases like that, where the killer gets to take care of the kids. Yeah, it's not really, it's kind of like, a little bit like, you know, when I do like Seven Sterns, I'm just trying to get out the factual information, like going over a probable cause so that everybody goes, oh yeah, and they have all the information. That's about it. But you know, it's not a mystery who did it in that case. Now, if we had the probable cause in something like this, let's say they arrest him, then it'd be really interesting to go over all the little details that they've put together in the probable cause document. But, you know, he did it, right? He has some connection to the reason she's disappeared. Do you guys have any extra thoughts about it, or? I don't know where the children are staying at this point. Well, come aboard, Rob. You can do it, man. You can do it. You guys, any other thoughts on this one? I mean, we even have where a car was found out in right around in this area somewhere. This is the house on Linda Lane, or Linda Road, Linda Lane. And then, you know, this is the casino that apparently she was picked up near here. We don't really know the exact story of actually what's provable in that story. Like, who's telling that story? Yeah, there's a good idea, Cindy. Why don't the freaks go out there and try to get Rob a membership? Make yourself available, all right? Maybe make that your mission. The next case I'm going to do is a missing person case too. Except this one is from a long time ago. Oh, well, there's Rob Sand right there. Well, maybe you can help other people get memberships. He just got one anyways. Well, welcome, Rob. All right, well, here we go. All right. This is back in 1976, February 2nd. Abduction of elderly pair feared. So this is in, I thought it was, yeah, it's Texas. What if I look it up and they're still in there? Let me see if they're been verified. I know it's not normal when they're, let's see. I mean, it's so old like that, but. Faye Whatley, maybe? Let's see. Bass strip. Oh, there goes my stomach. Yeah, there's one there. Wow, it's weird. Man, that person... Well, no, it couldn't have been that. Oh, there you go. That's one that says 105. Does that make sense? If she was 74... Or Faye was 68 in 1976. So what would that be? 30... how many years is that, man? That's like 48 years plus 68. So that would make her 116, right? I don't know if it's going to be in here. I don't think so. Alright. Anyways, a sleepy Bastrop County Sheriff Jimmy Nutt said Monday morning he believes an elderly Hills Prairie couple. So let's find that at least. Sort of narrow it down here. Let's see, Faye and John. It's kind of an old age to be abducted, right? No. Let me just do it. Get through this. Hold on. Hills Prairie, Texas. There it is. So in this town somewhere. All right, now back to this. Nutt said he has been spearheading an intensive 2-day search for John Whitley, 74, and his wife, Faye, 68. It looks like they were abducted and taken out of here, Nutt said. They never left under their own will. Their billfolds, eyeglasses, and driver's licenses were at their house. Oh, boy. Okay. And an automobile and truck also were still at the couple's modern 3-bedroom ranch house at Hills Prairie, a small community about 6 miles from Bastrop, Nutt said. Approximately 7 persons, including Department of Public Safety troopers, sheriff deputies, members of a Bastrop Citizens Band Radio Club, and others, participated in the search for the couple Sunday. A DPS helicopter also was used. The sheriff said every inch of the couple's 1,500 to 1,600 acre ranch was searched. We need to develop a lead, he said, adding he has no suspects in the case. A bullet hole was found in a front window at the house, Nutt said, but no blood was found and no bullet casings located, he added. The house was not disarranged. One window was left up, and it's possible an intruder could have come through it. The screen was up on it. So Nutt said his office entered the case when a call came from a relative of Mrs. Whitley, who said the couple was supposed to have been in Houston Friday for a wedding rehearsal. A deputy was sent to the Whitley Ranch, which is located on the bank of the Colorado River, and a search was started. Tuesday, Whitley called a man who works for him and asked him not to come out because it was so cold. He told him to come out the next day. The guy came out Wednesday morning and couldn't raise anybody, so whatever happened to them happened Tuesday night, Nutt said. Hey, look at that. It's Jay Case. Do I have the thing on? I want to hear the way you read that. Yeah, I am trying to be. It's hard though. It's difficult because we've for like 3 days in a row kind of struggled more than normal. But I guess that's sort of the way it has to be, right? And where you're, it makes it. It's kind of stressful, but at the same time, I didn't feel good a lot of nights, like I'd be done with the show and I'd be like, ah, jeez. But let me hear it. Let's hear it. Where'd you read about it, Jay? All right, let's see.
HHHHHHHUUZEZEEE. Great to say hi. What's this introspection I've read about recently? You making an effort to become you again circa 2022? That'd be cool. The flyovers, the callers participate.
Oh, well, it said participation. Awesome. Thank you. I'm not sure why it cut off there. Oh, you read the community post. Yeah. But people took the community post as a... there were people that were commenting in the community post that were trying to be helpful. That they were actually trying to be helpful. And then there's other people who like to, put out, like, just absolutely trash you into oblivion, saying stuff that isn't true or reality whatsoever. And that's where it's kind of like, they were just trying to get their pound of flesh in there. So I let it stay up there for 3 or 4 days, but I blocked another 50 people or so. So, it gave me an opportunity to block a lot of people. Ones that really didn't give a damn about trying to think, well, let's see what Gray does. They go in there and they want to tell their little stories and all that kind of stuff. And, it's tough, though, because it's, we've been doing the, similar stuff for so long, and it's hard to wean yourself off of how you do the show, right? It's kind of difficult. There's people that think it's like they take their time to send you some stuff that's just totally bullcrap about yourself, and that's what I don't like about it. I know who I am as a person. I'm a good person, and I try to make a difference in this community, in the world. And maybe I was a little too aggressive, trying to make sure we were just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And maybe I could be a little nicer to people's opinions and things like that. But I know who I am, so I don't need people telling me, who they think I am. I really don't care, I know who I am. I understand. I mean, I was feeling like, some nights like, God, I mean, I wish I just, what I always thought was like, man, it sucks to have to keep saying, hey, everybody, but, that's because people couldn't send something, so it's like, I'm sitting there pushing to try to get support for the channel, and maybe people weren't able to actually support the channel, and you have the same small, if you have 300 to 500 people that are watching all the time, it's hard for people to constantly keep, it's not a great model. It might have been like if I had started getting 3, 4, 5,000 people watching, and I really would never even have to ask or anything like that, because it just would happen. But people like to watch drama more than an actual true crime channel. It's difficult. It's hard to compete in this arena because the drama channels suck up all the oxygen from the room. It used to be where there was a few of us that did live stream true crime, and it was it was cool, and then maybe more people were doing it, but they didn't do true crime. They came in to do sensationalism. I mean, these people that all you guys have watched recently are just dirtbags. I mean, one of them cheated on, left his wife and is sleeping with Seth Rogers' ex-girlfriend. And that's what you're getting in these true crime world. Okay? And one of the Delphi guys, the guy that looks like Hitler, he just choked out his wife and got arrested for it. You see what I'm saying, you guys? But hey, you know what? That's more fun to watch because it's entertaining and neato. So there you go. So that's why it's been kind of, it's one of those things where I'm sitting around and I've wanted to change how this all goes for a long time. It just gets, some nights it's just really frustrating, where you feel like you can't say, hey, everybody, if you can help support the channel, if you could please, like people don't even want me to say anything. And it just feels like, man, how do you do a show like that? I don't know. It's tough. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool, RX Girl. I don't, the thing is, I don't require, people aren't required to, but I was just like, I'm trying to get back to where, the thing is, I need to make an income for my channel to be able to keep doing this. Okay? That's just the reality of it. I'd love to be able to keep doing the donation part because that's been such a big part of what we've done here. But that's probably not real at this point. I mean, maybe I can still try to do some, but it's one of those things where, I mean, what do you guys think? I'm just trying to. No, I know you're not, but there's people that, went into the comments section and just, they say really rude things, and people message me with really rude comments. They think they're really trying to be helpful, but it isn't, it's not. And some of them aren't really trying to be helpful. They're actually just trying to get their little pound of flesh in when they can, and, I know the difference. Yeah, make yourself available, RX Girl. Unfortunately, we can't choose who gets to, that gets to have a membership, unfortunately. I would much rather do it that way because I can't tell you how many people we've given free memberships to that are just absolute trolls. They don't even like me whatsoever, and they stole the membership from somebody who maybe wanted one that was, it's incredible, actually. Well, my heart and head have always said, like it just feels like I should be able to do the show and people want to support the channel, right? But then me saying all the time, oh my God, everybody, hey, if you could, help support the channel, that'd be great. And then get sort of frustrated and upset when people aren't. I mean, that's just, it felt bad and ludicrous that I would do that. And so I don't want to do that. So I guess there's just going to be nights where I'm going to be frustrated and just sort of suck it up, I guess. You know? Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, make yourself. I don't know if they are or not. I actually don't go watch other channels very often, so I don't know if they do or not. But I would assume that some do. Yeah, I mean, I could do one of those partnership things where you guys are going to have to listen to something where I go, "Hey, everybody, have you tried the new Coke? You know, it's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best Cokes you've ever had. Now, have a sip of the..." Yeah, one of the best Cokes. Yeah, because they got like 95 of those. I know, no, that's the whole thing is, you know, I've been doing identifiers, Texas Equisearch, all that stuff, and I know it comes from you guys, and, you know, I'm the one that gets to, you know, at least write it off, you know, obviously, but it's not like dollar for dollar like people think. It just takes off the total income. So like a quarter of that, and that would sort of make it so it was okay to be giving so much of my income because I got a little bit of it back, you know, a quarter. Let's see, it may not be a bad idea to get sponsorship. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, let me get back to this story here. Anyways, thanks Jay, and up there to Melissa Teal. Yeah, and you know, there's people out there that always go, I mean, I guess what the thing that's interesting about it is that we have this, what is it? Like, I donate a ton of money to different charities, but there's people that are freaks, as somebody told me, that aren't doing that well. You know, but I have helped out a lot of freaks over the years, okay, on the side. You know, I just don't say who they are and what we're, you know, I don't talk about it. Okay, so it's not like I'm not helping freaks out, giving my own money out, you know, whenever, and even people, some of the freaks that really don't even like me, I've helped out, if you can believe that. So, you know, that and the charities. So it's not like I just sit around and everybody's, and there's people that know that I have done that, okay? And they're out there. Yeah. Let's see. I took a friend to the gas station and filled her up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just stuff like that. Not bowing to their rules. Yeah, so I don't know. You know, I don't want to just keep making this a thing. I'm just trying not to be, you know, care as much. You know, it still bothers me the same inside currently. I'm just not going to outwardly say something because it's hard to wean yourself off of like, wow, you know, we were doing so well, just like you know, and then now it's just. Oh, well, thanks, 8675309. I think the same way of you. That won't score you any points in the troll world, though. 867. Did you see what she said? Wow. Why in the hell would a person on $120,000 salary have a mortgage? I'm not sure who you're talking about, but who's got a $6,000 mortgage? Who's got that? Is this the case we're on right now, or? I don't remember reading that. No, I'm just joking with you. 8675309. Yeah. Oh, your friend. I wasn't reading up there. No, because California, you know, the prices of houses are so ridiculous. Yeah, so anyways, you guys, that's it. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that until just now. Man, that's a lot. Thank you, Will Warren, who said, at least you're wise enough to see. Yeah, it's not, I've said it for a while, I don't think it's a good model, you know, just kind of relying. I need something that's more like, yeah, that's why I always say, wouldn't it be great to have like 1,000 members, and we do like member lives and all those kind of things, and it's steady, it's all the same, you know. That'd be a better way to do it. I think it was just kind of like a unique time during the pandemic, you know, where it was just, yeah. So anyways, let's get back to this, all right? So they had a bullet hole, all their driver's license, everything was, they had a bullet hole in a window. Let's see.
At least you're wise enough to see what wasn't working. To a new route to the same mission.
Yeah. Alright, so it says the house was not disarranged. One window was left up, and it's possible an intruder could have come through it. The screen was up on it. Nutt said his office entered the case when a call came from a relative of Mrs. Whitley, who said the couple was supposed to have been in Houston Friday for a wedding rehearsal. A deputy was sent to the Whitley Ranch, which is located on the bank of the Colorado River, and a search was started. Tuesday, Whitley called a man who works for him and asked him not to come out because it was so cold. He told him to come out the next day. The guy came out Wednesday morning and couldn't raise anybody, so whatever happened to them happened Tuesday night. Well, it's sort of interesting, you know. I mean, now what are the odds of that? Don't come out and then something happens on a night where there wasn't, you know. Tuesday, Whatley called a man who worked for him and asked him not to come out because it was so cold. He told him to come out the next day. The guy came out Wednesday morning and couldn't raise anybody. So whatever happened to him happened Tuesday night. So he would have been there if he hadn't been called. So who knew that that guy was called and wouldn't be there? I mean, that guy himself knew. I mean, right? Although that'd be stupid for him to do it, because then it's just him telling the story. Anyways, a Tuesday edition of the American Statesman was found open in the house, but Wednesday newspaper still was in the couple's mailbox. So that means that they were They got up in, Tuesday during the day and read the newspaper, but didn't get it the next day. Nutt said the well-liked couple attended an Episcopal church in Bastrop. The Whitleys, Nutt said, were pretty wealthy. Well, I'm not sure what that means. The Whitley's Nutt? Is that the Nutt said. Oh, who's Nutt? I guess there's a guy named Nutt. Is that let me see if I can find it. The sheriff, Jimmy Nutt. Okay. The Whitleys, Sheriff Nutt said, were pretty wealthy. A fact he indicated might have some bearing on the case. Nutt said he would be checking Bastrop banks on Monday to see if any sizable amounts of money had been withdrawn recently by the couple. Yeah, it's a lot of freaks, but you know what's weird, Sherry? If I put out a video, wouldn't you think I'd get 15,000 views no matter what, almost? But it was weird because the video I put out today has got 4. So I don't know if it's my thumbnails or what the hell's going on there, but we'll figure it out one of these days. The bullet hole, one of few clues to missing Bastrop couple. A perturbing silence hangs over the residence since 6 miles south of Bastrop. No one has seen the owners for almost a week now. Nothing stirs but a few dogs hanging about the yard, and farther away in a field, a herd of Angus cattle. Johnny Whitley, 74, and his wife, Faye, 68, who have resided at the rural Bastrop County site since their marriage their marriage some 4 years ago, apparently disappeared with no reason late on the evening of January 27th or early January 28th. They live near the tiny community of Hills Prairie. Yeah, so that's what Hills Prairie. So that's just this. It's right here. They're one of these houses right here. Because Hills Prairie is its own place, and then this is another place called. I don't know. Maybe that's. I don't know if that's another little town. Maybe this whole thing was. Let me go back to like 19. No, that was a good one. 1996. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing. Look at this. Where we were just looking at buildings, I think. Like right here. Let's see if those are there. Yeah, a lot less going on there. But it says Hills Prairie's right here, so I'm kind of thinking that that's what... it's one of these huge pieces of property right here. One of these. Looks like there might be 3 or 4 massive pieces of property. Yeah, I have 1,200 members. Unfortunately, though, I have that low tier, so almost everybody's in that one, and it makes it difficult. Anyways, I've said that for years. A bullet hole was found in a window and is drawn shade. So Hillsborough Sheriff Jimmy Nutt strongly suspects that the couple was taken out of their home at gunpoint. A bullet hole was found in a window and in a drawn shade. Oh, that's interesting. According to Nutt. So did the bullet come from outside? Who added that the shot was fired from inside. Okay, so it's inside of the modern 3-bedroom home. So it was probably like a warning shot. Obviously there would have been blood on the ground if somebody was hit. However, he said neither blood nor a bullet casing were found. Friends said the couple seldom, if ever, drew their window shades. It looks like they were abducted and taken out of there, Nutt said, adding that personal effects of the couple were intact in the home, including their money in their billfolds and their eyeglasses. The sheriff began the search late Saturday evening when Mrs. Whatley, or I think it might be Whatley, but it might be Whitley's daughter, by a previous marriage and son-in-law, called him from Houston and asked him to check on their well-being. Mr. and Mrs. Whitley were to have attended a wedding Saturday in Houston. A deputy was dispatched to the Whitley Ranch, which is on the Colorado River, and the search got underway. So let's take a look at that again. So that's the Colorado River, and here it is. It goes around, I think it's going to be, the ranch is on the Colorado River. So it goes right around Hills Prairie, the entire thing. So maybe it's this one over here. But anyways, there's the Colorado, or that's Coppers Creek. There's Colorado River right here, though. Why is that called Coppers? Colorado River. I guess that's the area here. Maybe it comes in. I always like these older ones because they give you so much information. A deputy was dispatched to the Whitley Ranch, which is on the Colorado River, and the search got underway. About 70%, including departments of public safety, troopers, sheriff, deputies, members of the Bastrop Citizens Band Radio Club, as well as sheriff's officers, conducted an intensive search over the 2,000-acre ranch Sunday. Nutt said he had every inch checked on the ranch, including wood piles and anywhere there was freshly turned dirt. Nothing was found. Whitley's whereabouts were last established on January 27th when he telephoned a worker and asked him not to come to work because of the weather. According to Nutt, the man reportedly came to the Whitley's ranch on Wednesday morning and was unable to find them. Tuesday edition of the Austin American-Statesman was found open in the house, but Wednesday's paper still was in the mailbox. The Whitleys, Nutt said, are pretty wealthy, a fact he indicated might have some bearing on the case. Whitley is a longtime rancher in the area. Mrs. Whitley is a member of the Calvary Episcopal Church in Bastrop. Whitley's, I wonder if that has anything to do with that. Whitley's only son, I wonder if they left any of their money to a place. Barney Whitley of Austin talked with Nutt Monday morning. He said he had not seen his father in some time, adding his father's pretty well kept to himself. Nutt said late Monday that he has no suspects. Not sure why it keeps opening up over there, but let's see. Authorities believe wealthy elderly rancher and his wife were forced, this is February 6th, were forced at gunpoint from their Central Texas home, but they have found no motive for the abduction. See, this reminds me of the Russell and Shirley Herman, or was it Russell and Shirley Dermond? Excuse me. Isn't that almost like identical? Remember the boat drove up there? They were elderly, they were rich, and they were taken away. His body was left there though, and his head was taken. But then his wife was taken out to the lake and weighted down. Remember that? Let's see. Authorities believe a wealthy elderly rancher and his wife were forced at gunpoint. John Whitley, 78 or 70. What was it again? 70. Can't read. Oh, let me turn this off. I can see it if I get rid of that. 73, and his wife Faye, 69, disappeared from their 1,600-acre ranch along the Colorado River, January 27th, said Bastrop County Chief Deputy Sheriff Verlin Hemphill. What kind of a name is that? Hey, my name is Verlin Hemphill. But Hemphill said possible motive for the abduction were obscure. All their money was there. Their identification and clothes was all there, Hemphill said. It looks like robbery was not the motive. Apparently, it wasn't kidnapping because no ransom note nor anything was sent to anybody. We should have heard from someone if it was kidnapping for ransom. Hemphill said a gun, and same thing in Russell and Shirley Dermott. Right? There's nothing. They just were killed, and nothing was taken. Absolutely nothing. Somebody went there and just basically abducted them. They couldn't carry Russell out, so they just took his head. And I always thought that the head was taken for proof of that they were killed, and we don't know the reason. And the wife was just taken out because they could carry her, and they took her out, and in the middle of the reservoir where they lived, they weighted her down, and then her decomposition floated the cinder blocks and herself back up to the surface. Anyways, Hemphill said gunshot was fired from inside. What happened to Nut? I liked Nut. That was easier to say. Hemphill said a gunshot was fired from inside the two-bedroom white concrete block house. White concrete block house. Is there any way that there's... Oh my God, can you believe it? They actually have street view on this damn... Here, let me go back. That was too far over here. Now, let's see. I have a feeling this is the house. Can't tell what that's made out of. Can't tell if that's concrete, and now it's painted green. Wouldn't shock me at all, though. There's something white back there, though. Is that another house? Or yeah, so there's a house right back in there. I bet you that's it. I bet they lived right there, and they own. I bet you they own this spot. Let me check something out here. I have a feeling that they own this entire place. I just want to see what this comes out to. Along the Colorado River, the entire thing, just like this. All right, now I'm going to do the measurement. Wait, do they have? Let me see. Let me do a different one. I'm going to do this one. Ah, shoot. So something like that. How come I don't have acres in here? Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, that's 2,762, not 1,600. So I bet you it's this part right over on. So if you had this property, I bet it's like this. So let's try that again. No, not that one. This was my first thought, but then I thought, man, is that whole area? Let's see what that one says. 1,673. Yeah, that's 1640 right there. I bet you that's it. And I bet you the white concrete house is right there. There's no sign of them. We had no lead where they went or anything, Hemphill said. It looks like they were forced out at gunpoint. Hemphill said Whitley, whose large beef cattle ranch is nestled in a bed of the Colorado River, is very wealthy. It's one of the best places in the county, the chief deputy said. I understand his assets was $2 or $3 or even $6 or $7 million. He wasn't hurting. He described the ranchers as sociable when he gets out, but he likes his privacy when he comes home. Whitley has one son in Austin, and Mrs. Whitley has a daughter by a previous marriage in Houston. I mean, their relatives all really perturbed. Here's what I would wonder. See, we've had these kind of discussions before in other cases, even in the Russell and Shirley Derman. I think that's a place you look, what is the son's life like? Is he struggling out there? And was he, you might ask, this is just hypothetical with no, there's no, it's just theorizing, right? And then he sort of speeds along the process where he gets the inheritance. Because these are the ones where you just look at and go, what other, what else is there? Like in Russell and Shirley Derman, you have those thoughts, but, it's likely not the truth. But you have those thoughts because you think to yourself, okay, well, somebody killed these people. They're wealthy. And there's absolutely no reason, there's no, ransom notes. They stole nothing. Hey, good night, Jay. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. To Bali, huh? Nice. Which emojis? Miss your emojis. Lols. Night, Husey. Yep, thanks. Have a good one. I mean, their relatives really perturbed. I mean, they are. Hold on. I mean, their relatives are really perturbed about it. Well, that seems like a weird word to use. Perturbed about it. Whitley has one son in Austin, and Mrs. Whatley has a daughter by a previous marriage in Houston. I mean, they're all really perturbed about it. Okay. And that's them right here. So this is sort of a longer one. I guess I can see what this one says. A natural aura of mystery surrounds the recent disappearance of wealthy Bastrop County couple, but an even stronger feeling also prevails, a premonition of death. Friends and neighbors of John Whitley, 74, and his wife, Faye, 68, fear the couple is dead, possibly victims of either a crazed killer or killers. The holder of a grudge against one or both of, or two, or would-be kidnappers who lost their courage, panicked, then took their lives. But, where? There have been no ransom demands. Theories as well as rumors run rampant in such cases. The couple disappeared on either January 27th or 28th. The Whitleys were to have been in Houston January 30th for a wedding rehearsal of their granddaughter. The couple failed to show up at the rehearsal as well as the wedding on January 31st. Fearing something might be wrong, Mr. and Mrs. Bennett, Blake, Mrs. Whatley's daughter by a previous marriage, and son-in-law, called Bastrop. They asked Sheriff Jimmy Nutt to inquire after the couple. Nutt said he received. Inquire after the couple. Nutt said he received the Blake's call at about 10:30 p.m. January 31st, a Saturday. He dispatched a deputy to the Whitley home at Hills Prairie, which is about 6 miles south of Bastrop. The deputy found no one at home. A bullet hole was found in a window. An intensive search for the pair began the next day, Nutt said. About 70 people combed the Whitley ranch land for any sign of the missing couple. Citizens, band radio operators, and a Department of Public Safety helicopters were also used. Nutt said every inch of the Whitley's ranch was searched. The Reverend Robert Redmond, minister of Calvary Episcopal Church in Bastrop, where Mrs. Whatley's was a member, said every possible place on the land was checked. Redmond said the bullet hole, which Nutt said came from a .22 caliber firearm, went through the window pane and shade in the front of the modern 3-bedroom home. The minister expressed surprise that the window shade was pulled. He said the Whateleys seldom, if ever, pulled the shades. Officers working on the single clue, the bullet hole, began tracing what may have been the course of events leading up to the possible abduction. The Whateleys' nearest neighbor is D.F. Kaufman Sr. Should I look that one up just for the hell of it? Because he might have lived there for years. Let's see. I just want to see where he lived. This is in, what's the name of that little town again? Hills Prairie. That's probably, I bet that's him. 95 years old, that kind of makes sense. I mean, he might have been only 40 or so, 50 at the time. However, there's no address, but, you know, has D.F. Kaufman, everything's the same. Let me try that again. Yeah, I think that first one was the closest, but I think that's probably not going to work either. The Whateleys' nearest neighbor is D.F. Kaufman Sr. Kaufman said he last saw Whitley on January 26, Monday morning, when Whitley left to go to a bank in Austin, as he did every Monday. Kaufman said he could not recall when he last saw Mrs. Whitley. An unidentified witness said he saw Whitley as late as the following Wednesday morning receiving his mail in Bastrop. Most sources believe, however, that the couple disappeared either late Tuesday or early Wednesday. The couple's 2 vehicles were in the garage, and a Tuesday edition of the Austin American Statement was found, was found open in the house. Wednesday's paper, however, was still in the mailbox in front of the house. Personal effects of the couple were intact in the home, including money in their billfolds and their eyeglasses. Mary Keitha, who runs an antique shop and liquor store on Bastrop's Main Street, and Mrs. Whatley had a long, enjoyable lunch at her shop on Monday. Faye was in good spirits, according to Mrs. Keitha. She was excited about going to Houston for the wedding. Workers had been re-roofing the Whateleys' house, according to Miss Keitha. That's an interesting element there. Who said Miss Whatley said they had been making so much noise that she decided to get away. Miss Keitha, Kaufman, and the Reverend Redmond all fear the Whateleys have been murdered. Kaufman firmly believes that Whatley would have put up a fight if someone had broken into the house and confronted him. Redmond said that the bullet hole indicated that it would have been at the correct height from the floor to have gone through a man's middle. But wouldn't there be blood on the ground? That shot was fired from inside the house. The minister said he doubts if these people will be found alive. Miss Keitha said she thinks the Whateleys have met a tragic fate and they are indeed dead. Gladys in Houston, a longtime friend of Miss Whatley who lives in Bastrop, said, "It's one of those mean things that happen. You don't think it will happen to you, and then it happens to your own in your own backyard. We are just helpless." Son-in-law Blake, in a telephone interview from Houston Friday, said he and his family are hoping for the best. At this point, he said, "We just don't know. The family is cooperating fully with law enforcement officials and have also retained a private investigator to look into the disappearance." Barney Whatley, the missing man's son by another marriage, said he had no idea what could have happened to his father. So it's his son of a different marriage. The younger Whatley, who lives in Austin, said he saw his father only occasionally, adding that his father pretty well keeps to himself. Hey, well, thanks, Alex. And Judy Grant. What's going on with the membership gifting? I turned my head and there it is. All right, well, thanks, you guys. So welcome to Boombox Benny. Hold on. Boombox Benny. Then we also got Daphne was gifted one. Not sure. I thought you already were a member. Then Judy Grandstrand gifted 5 memberships. And that was to Basic Brittany, Kim T4997, Aries Dawn, Firefly, something Mass Holes Unite, RX Girl, and then she gifted another one. Alex did. And that one was to Sean from Richland. What's your social security number? Hey, thanks for gifting those memberships. How did that happen like that? That was amazing. All right. So where was I? Right there. The younger Whatley, who lives in Austin, said he saw his father only occasionally, adding that his father is pretty well keeps to himself. John Whatley apparently is a self-made millionaire. He owned and operated a small dairy in what is now mid-north Austin when the community was called Ridgetop back in the 1920s, according to longtime acquaintance Lewis Hausman of Austin. Hausman said, "I first knew him over 50 years ago when he had a dairy over at Ridgetop, just north of where Hancock Center is now." Hausman said Whatley sold his dairy and bought some of that Rocky Hills land to the northwest. About 6 years ago, Hausman recounted Whatley, told me that he sold a piece of that old land for $500,000 cash. Everyone interviewed by the American Statesman emphasized that Whatley was a hard worker, and one said, "For a man of 74 years of age, He has a very young body. I saw him working without his shirt one time, and there wasn't a wrinkle on his skin. Whitley's diligence in land dealing and his hard work paid off. According to Verlin Hemphill, deputy sheriff at Bastrop, Whitley's assets total between $2 and $7 million. Whitley was known as a loner, as Hosman put it. Kaufman said Whitley is politically conservative. Politics get him hot. Hey, I like this Whitley guy. The missing man, although apparently wealthy, is not a money flasher, Kaufman said. And others interviewed echoed him. The couple owns 2 Mercedes-Benz automobiles, but their home, although comfortable, is not elaborate. According to friends, the Whitleys were married almost 4 years. Whitley moved to Bastrop County about 20 years ago, and the ranch home was built about 1968. Well, hey, thanks, Jay Case. And by the way, if you win the spin on a notebook, do you want me to just respin, Jay? I know you never want me to send those. But anyways, welcome to Audie Gerfin 1. Or wait, no. Australian Tiger fan. Oh, cool. Really? Are you the Australian, or I'm not sure if that's what you're saying, but I used to be a fan of the Richmond Tigers, okay, when I lived there for 3 months. U.S. Patriot Lady, NG, Loba, and Renee. Not sure if that's what that means, but it says AU Tiger fan. Okay. Well, thank you. And welcome Renee and Loba. Yeah. The younger Whitley who lives in Austin. Where were we up here? I think we were right. Oh, we already read that, right? Everyone interviewed the American Whitley's diligence in land. Okay. The missing man, although apparently wealthy, is not a money flasher, Kaufman said, and others interviewed echoed him. The couple owns 2 Mercedes-Benz automobiles, but their home, although comfortable, is not elaborate. According to friends, the Whitleys were married almost 4 years. Whitley moved to Bastrop County about 20 years ago, and the ranch home was built in 1968. Mrs. Whitley, according to Mrs. Houston, had been a fraternity house mother at the University of Texas in Austin, as well as a women's dormitory employee at the school. According to Miss Keitha, Mrs. Whitley is a pleasant person, highly regarded in the community. She devotes much of her time to her home. Redmond said Mrs. Whitley is a gracious woman who is active in church work. Her only child is Mrs. Blake. Mrs. Whitley lost a son in an airplane crash several years ago. Mrs. Houston said the missing woman's mother is still living in Nacogdoches, so her mother's still alive. Huh. She must be like almost 100. I mean, she's 68, so, you know, if you're just even 20, you're 89, but, you know, if you're 30 when you had the kid, you'd be... All right, let's see. The search for the missing Whitleys is continuing, and his officers are working long hours to find more clues. The Colorado River, on which much of the Whitley ranchland lies, has been dragged every month. Of freshly turned dirt near the place has been overturned, and every possible lead is being traced, according to Nutt. Kaufman said he's not seen anyone suspicious in the area. His house is only about 500 yards from the Whitleys' residence. The neighbor said he and had recently noticed some pecan trashers who were picking up pecans on the river on the halves, whatever that means, on the halves. But they had been gone a while. The Blakes and the Sheriff's Department solicit information about the missing couple. Persons with any information can telephone the Bastrop County Sheriff's Department. There's also something over here. It said a $10,000 reward was posted Saturday. That's pretty big for back then. That's probably like 50, 60,000 now. For information leading to the discovery, 10,000 you could almost buy a house in 1976. It's pretty crazy. Oh, the L101. Well, the L101 started during the, believe it or not, it was Chris Watts. We were reading some of the letters that some of these women sent to Chris Watts, like flirting with him in prison. I mean, what an embarrassment. So we were reading those, and I think it was Ada. We were reading them live on the show, and she read one of them. And she read it, and she said something about cooking, like, "Hey, I'd like to cook eggs and bacon, LOL." But she read it as 101, and we thought that was funny. But prior to that, we had this thing called LOL, because we would say, you're literally laughing out loud. So a lot of people just type LOL as if it's a period on the end of a sentence. Well, today I had I had lunch at McDonald's, LOL, and it's like, what, really? I'm going to tell you this: if you're laughing out loud because you told somebody you worked at McDonald's, you went to McDonald's for lunch, you need to be put into an insane asylum. Okay? Yeah, today I had lunch at McDonald's. Yeah, that'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? Yeah, so we decided to put the L there, like literally laughing out loud, meaning, okay, you're really laughing and you're letting us know that. But then I think it was Jay or somebody said, well, wouldn't that be L101, because she just said LOL was 101. So then it got switched to that. So then that's where it came from. L101 came from LOL because it was read that way. All right, there's the story. And it's the same thing, like I always tell people. If you see somebody go, oh my God, yesterday I took a hammer and I missed the nail and I crushed my thumb and I pulverized it, rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. All right? So if you literally just close your eyes and you picture somebody smashing their thumb and obliterating it, and then you look at them and they're on the floor just hysterically laughing where they can't control themselves, I think the first place you call isn't the police. You call a psych ward immediately to get out there with the body wrap thing. the suit thing. You get what I'm saying? Right. I guess they were trying to drag the river, but yeah. All right. Old murder probe for clues to Whitley's. That's sort of interesting. Oh, is this whole thing related to that? Holy crap. 2 decades ago, a shallow grave near Bastrop yielded the body of elderly Felix B. Heidel, who was brutally strangled on a small ranch near Linder and hauled through Travis County for clandestine burial across the Colorado River from the property of John and Faye Whatley. Wow. Has history implicated itself in the baffling disappearance of the elderly couple from their 1,498-acre river bottom ranch inside a fertile meander of the Colorado in Bastrop County. Something mysterious happened to the Whateleys on January 27th. Yeah, maybe I should read this with that music. You know, remember we used to do the one with the, let's see, where is it? I think it's under ominous, the dark times. Maybe this one. That's if it opens. Hold on. Okay. Why isn't that playing? Oh, there we go. It wasn't connecting to the disc. Is it that one or the Lost Times is good too. I like this one. That one's better. Not the beeping sound though. There we go. Each passing day enhances the probability that John Whitley, 74, and Faye, 68, or at least one of them, are hidden in some grave perhaps as far from their home as Heidel was interred from his. Let's see. Blake's wife, daughter of Mrs. Whitley by a prior marriage, became worried when the couple failed to show up as planned for the wedding rehearsal of their granddaughter January 30th, as well as the wedding the next day. Both reportedly were fond of the Blake's daughter. Long-distance calls to the Whitley home went unanswered, and Blake telephoned Bastrop County Sheriff Jimmy Nutt the Saturday night of January 31st. Nutt dispatched a deputy sheriff to the Whitley Ranch 6 miles south of Bastrop, near the old Hills Prairie settlement. The house was silent. Nobody stirred, although both the Whateleys' Mercedes-Benz cars were in the garage. The 3-bedroom house was searched. The couple's eyeglasses, billfolds, and driver's licenses were at home. How do you think this goes? You go down like this direction? I don't know, we already did that. Heidel, 78, was murdered by 2 men who wanted him out of the way while they rustled his meager herd of 24 cattle on his little 100-acre ranch on the Burnett Highway northwest of Austin. The Whateleys are much wealthier. Heidel's hands were bound behind his back, and a wire noose tightly encircled his neck when his body was found July 28, 1955. His bachelor son, Ed Heidel, reported him missing 3 days before the gruesome discovery about 40 miles away. Bennett Blake of Houston, son-in-law of the Whateleys, reported them missing more than 5 weeks ago, either 4 or 5 days after something eerie occurred at their home. Did somebody bind the Whateleys to a door missing from their bedroom and use it as a stretcher to cart them away? Who? I guess we didn't know about the door. Bloodstains and signs of a scuffle were absent. The only hint of foul play was a .22 caliber bullet hole fired through a window from inside the house. Only the Whitleys seemed to be missing at the time, but officers later determined an inside bedroom door was gone. Maybe the bedroom door also had a bullet that was stuck in it though, right? I'm just throwing that out there. Only the Whateleys seemed to be missing at the time, but officers later determined an inside bedroom door was gone. Not a trace of the couple or a reason for their disappearance have been uncovered in the tedious investigation since then. Law enforcement officers, faced with a total absence of clues, are examining even the most remote possibilities. The 20-year-old slaying of Felix Heidel is being scrutinized again. Calvin White, 47, and Charlie White, 43, strangled Heidel with a wire noose. Testimony in their separate trials disclosed they dug his grave before killing him across the Colorado from land owned by the Whateleys. That's pretty strange, don't you think? The White brothers, both now dead, allegedly considered Whitley as a possible victim, since he owned more cattle than Heidel. A third victim reportedly was on the White death list. Has son unkempt. That's hard to say. Has son. Wow. Try to say that. Has some unkempt. Say that fast, man. Has some. Oh, Jesus. Has some unkempt appointment in Samara finally led Whitley to a similar fate planned for him 2 decades ago? The White brothers, ex-convicts with offenses ranging from chicken theft to armed robbery, were arrested in the Heidel disappearance after an Austin cattle buyer told police the 2 men offered to sell him the old rancher's cows. Charlie White led T.O. Lang, then Travis County Sheriff, to Heidel's grave near Bastrop. Charlie, a 2-time loser, was sentenced to death in the electric chair after his trial in October of 1956. And back then they didn't fool around. You got the death penalty, you die like a couple weeks later. Calvin, an habitual criminal on parole from a life sentence when Heidel was slain, was sentenced to death in an earlier trial in December of 1955. Calvin cheated old Sparky by dying in his cell in the Travis County Jail in January 1957, only 2 days after losing his final appeal. Now it's like 20 years, so I guess he did go through the appeals and it was 2 years. He had complained to jailers that electricity already was jumping around him. Justice of the peace J.H. Watson and others felt Calvin literally was scared to death. Pathologists later attributed the death to coronary sclerosis. Charlie's death sentence still was on appeal when his brother escaped their chair by dying prematurely of natural causes. Charlie also lost his last appeal, and he was electrocuted at Huntsville. Officer grasps for leads. Vague specters from heinous events in the past have been aroused. The ghostly possibilities are as wild as they are improbable. But officers are grasping at anything in the Whateleys' disappearance, even something as unlikely as a smoldering revenge factor from the Heidel case. Yet only wild conjecture exists in all phases of the Whitley mystery, and Sheriff Nutt admits we're up against a stone wall, nothing to go on but guesses. Bastrop County has not had an unsolved murder during the 16-year tenure of Sheriff Nutt, and he is more convinced with each passing day that the Whateleys' case involves murder of a strange nature. Nutt is checking all rumors. Oh, what are they talking about? Like UFOs and aliens? Nutt is checking all rumors, and his investigation has touched on something which occurred in Mexico over a half-century ago. Whitley, born in Mexico, was the son of a physician in Chihuahua. The Whitley property was confiscated by revolutionaries, and young John escaped from Mexico under a wagon. A rumor persisted that someone in Mexico might have come to Bastrop to kill Whitley and prevent him from reclaiming his family expropriated land. Nutt can find no indication that the Mexican government intends to return any expropriated land. Whitley, man, that's crazy to get that deep into that, right? Whitley's sister, Anita Lorenz of El Paso, says her brother would have never bought any. I actually think this first part might be connected somehow. That's crazy that the Whateleys were on the same list to be killed by these people. Maybe that list was given to somebody else, you know, like, hey, these guys may. Anita Lorenz of El Paso says her brother would have never bought any land in Mexico because of his distrust of the government. After talking to Mrs. Lorenz, Nutt discounts any Mexican connection. You know, it's weird when the music plays, I make less mistakes reading. I don't know why. He gets me into this flow. It's strange. Whitley, a self-made millionaire since coming to Texas, once operated a small dairy at Ridgetop in what now is North Austin. He sold the dairy, bought land northwest of Austin, and in turn sold it for a reported $500,000. Bastrop County Deputy Sheriff Verlin Hemphill says Whitley's assets are somewhere between $2 million and $7 million. D.F. Kaufman Sr., Whitley's nearest neighbor, says he last saw him January 26 as he left for his regular Monday trip to a bank in Austin. Mrs. Whitley had lunch in Bastrop the same day with Marie Keitha, an antique dealer. A January 27th edition of the Austin American Statesman was opened in the Whitley home when officers arrived January 31st. A January 28th edition of the newspaper was still in the mailbox in front of the house, leading Nutt to believe something happened to the couple January 27th. Louise Hossman of Austin, a longtime acquaintance of Whitley, described him as a loner. Whitley's son, Barney, by a previous marriage, also says his father pretty well kept to himself. Wife was highly regarded. Mrs. Whitley, on the other hand, is described by friends as gracious, highly regarded in the community, and possessing an outgoing personality. The Whitleys were married 4 years ago. She is a former fraternity house mother and women's dormitory employee at the University of Texas in Austin. She had 2 children by a previous marriage, Miss Blake of Houston, and a son who was killed in a plane crash. Her mother lives in Nacogdoches. Mrs. Keitha described her last lunch with Mrs. Whitley, says Faye was in good spirits. She was excited about going to Houston for the wedding. Nutt still in charge of the investigation, even though the FBI has entered the case, is puzzled about the bullet hole in the window about high enough to go through a man's waist. Yet the absence of blood leans him towards speculation that the Whitleys were knocked unconscious, tied to the missing door, and carried to a waiting vehicle. That sounds kind of weird. You know, why do that? How would you get the door out the door? I mean, you have to slide it right next to the door, you know. Just were made as the other door was lifted through it. So let's see. Let me see it. Whitleys were knocked unconscious, tied to the missing door, and carried to a waiting vehicle. Oh, well, listen to this. Scratch marks on the front door possibly were made as the other door was lifted through it. Well, there you go. I can't think of no other purpose the door would serve. That's one reason to believe they were alive when they left the house, Nutt said. Hunter saw a blue and green pickup truck or a van speeding down the ranch road of Hills Prairie on January 27th at 9:45 p.m. The vehicle was seen leaving the Whitley Ranch an hour later. The Colorado has been dragged and a wide area search for freshly turned ground. And that says, Nutt doubts if the Whitleys still are alive. A member of the family has posted a $10,000 reward for information leading to the discovery of Whitley's dead, Whitley's either dead or alive. This one is from May 29th, like 4 months later. Let's see if they've got anything new in this one. There's only one more after this. A mystery of the disappearance of elderly and wealthy John and Faye Whatley from their River Bottom Ranch 4 months ago deepens and meanders like the muddy Colorado River from one lead to another without reaching a clear spot. The same question that puzzled Bastrop County Sheriff Jimmy Nutt in late January are perplexing him in late May. Nutt feels certain the Whateleys are dead. A wide search for bodies continues. The Sheriff Department received a report this week from a man who believed he had found part of a finger inside of a 5-pound catfish Jesus, he caught in Lake Bastrop. He put the bones in a cup in the back of his pickup to bring them to town, but his dog ate them on the way. Ah, Jesus, really? That possible clue now is as elusive as anything else in Whatley's mystery. Why didn't you make the dog throw up somehow? John Whately, 74, but looking much younger, and his wife, Faye, 68, also healthy and active, apparently read their January 27th edition of the Austin American-Statesman in their comfortable 3-bedroom home on their 1,498-acre ranch in a fertile bend of Colorado, due just southwest of Bastrop. What happened to cause their January 28th edition to remain untouched in their mailbox? How could they have gone anywhere of their own accord when their 2 Mercedes-Benz cars remained in their garage? Why would they voluntarily leave with somebody else without taking along their eyeglasses, billfolds, and driver's license? Well, they wouldn't. If someone forced them to go, why were there no signs of a struggle or foul play except a .22 caliber bullet hole fired through a window from inside the house? If it hit anyone, why was there no blood? If the Whateleys were robbed, what was stolen? I think the gunshot was to kind of, hey, this is real, you guys. You know, this is, you know, they wanted to make him like it was a serious thing, so stay still. And then they fired a shot, like a warning shot, right? If the Whateleys were robbed, what was stolen? Known possessions of the couple still were in the house. If they were kidnapped, why was there no ransom demand? The couple had plenty of money. Their estate is valued at $2 to $7 million. If someone was mad enough to kill the Whateleys, who is it, and what are the reasons? There are the usual theories in any disappearance, but nothing except wild guesses in the Whatley case. We just can't crack it, says Sheriff Nutt. We check out everything anyone tells us, but we come up with nothing. We've got the same clues we started with, and there's nothing new on them. The bullet hole still in the window. A blue or green pickup truck or van was seen speeding down a ranch. Well, we didn't know that. Down a ranch road near Hills Prairie, January 27th at about 9:45 p.m. Hunters saw it leaving the Whateleys' ranch an hour later. But it has not been sighted since then. Well, that's something new. We didn't know that one. Yeah, that's what I said, PG. Yeah. A mahogany hollow core door with 2 hinges is missing inside the Whatley home. Nutt believes the couple were strapped to the door and carried away. The sheriff has asked anyone finding such a door to telephone him collect. I mean, I don't know if I need to even read this. No clues on... Well, we keep getting these new pieces of information, even though they're not in any of the other articles. So we heard about the door, and now we hear about this truck speeding away, right? All right, so this is the last one here. It has been almost a year since millionaire rancher John Whatley and his wife vanished from their home on a sprawling Central Texas ranch. But former Bastrop County Sheriff Jimmy Nutt says the disappearance still bugs the hell out of me. Nutt, who says investigators are stymied, said, "I don't know a damn bit more than I did the first night I went out to the ranch. The former sheriff has traveled to Mexico." He actually did that, wow. "And even employed a psychic in his lengthy but vain attempts," that was probably what he did at the very end when he lost all hope, "to find the missing couple." Nutt, 56, is so concerned about the disappearance that he almost backed out of his announced resignation from office to pursue the case, and now says he will come out of retirement to work in the case if he can find a new lead. Nutt, a deputy and a neighbor found the thick-walled home locked and silent last January 31st after Mrs. Whitley's daughter reported the couple missing. Investigators discovered what appeared to be a bullet hole in a bedroom window and found what apparently a second bullet mark in the concrete tile interior of the window. Well, there you go. So that's another piece of information. Inside, they said they saw an orderly bedroom with a spotless floor that appeared to have been recently cleaned. Oh, well, that's new information too. So maybe there was blood there, and you guys didn't detect it. A mahogany door to the bedroom was missing, having been lifted from its hinges, and the locks had been removed from every window. They were found in a jar in the house. Well, maybe that was for painting or something. And maybe there was people working on their roof. Maybe they're having somebody paint inside, you know. There was no trace of the reportedly eccentric 74-year-old rancher and his 68-year-old wife, Faye. Days of frustrating search followed by searchers, sometimes numbering 100, fanned out over the sprawling ranch. Dragging the nearby Colorado River, they found nothing despite using a helicopter. Texas Rangers combed the house using chemical paper that changed color in the presence of the faintest trace of blood. It failed to react. You'd really have to clean it up goody not to leave a trace that would show on that paper, Ranger Wallace Spiller said. Nutt said a bullet hole in the window shade failed to match the trajectory of the slug that had penetrated the glass and window screen. So that was the second one. Someone had pulled down the shade after the shot was fired. No slugs were found, although authorities said they discovered some bullet fragments under a bed. Man, okay, now it sort of feels like there was shooting inside the house and somebody cleaned it up. Is anybody there? I mean, my God, PG made that comment like 10 minutes ago. No slugs were found, although authorities said they discovered some bullet fragment under the bed. Under a bed. The rancher's fully loaded .22 caliber revolver was in a desk drawer. Nutt said Whitley's wallet with $7 in it was in the home, and nothing of any value was missing. After weeks of futile investigation, Nutt called in a psychic who told the sheriff that Whitley was buried near water. That's just so classic. Was buried near water, but not the Colorado River. The woman speculated that Whitley had been killed and his wife injured by 3 people, but provided no real clues. Thanks, Lisa Valenzuela. On his vacation last year, Nutt expanded his investigation to Peril, a Mexican mountain town near the former holdings of the Whitley family, which fled the Mexican Revolution. Nutt said he came away from the area convinced that the elderly rancher who spoke fluent Spanish could live forever down there if he chose without being identified. Only a few days after the disappearance, officers questioned Whitley's only son and sole heir. There you go. After rural hunters told Nutt
they'd seen a van or a camper go towards the ranch and return 45 minutes later on the night of Whitley vanished. Barney Whitley, 41, a $1,000 a month weed inspector. Ah, man, that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning. For the city of Austin, who owned a van, denied being near the ranch that night. The younger Whitley retained an attorney and declined to take a polygraph test. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. What did the younger son do? Was he sort of down on his luck? I mean, $1,000 a month, you know, even in 75 isn't the greatest, you know. So, or 77. And apparently there's another vehicle that was driving around. That's what I was thinking right at the very beginning. Remember that? Only a few days after the disappearance, officers questioned Whitley's only son and sole heir after rural hunters told Nutt that they had seen a van or a camper go toward the ranch and return 45 minutes later on the night of Whitley's vanished. Okay, man, that's really meaningful there. The younger Whitley, who said he was financially independent of his father, added that he refused to take the polygraph exam because of a disagreement with law enforcement officials. Faye Whatley's 49-year-old daughter, Mrs. Bennett Blake, who visited the ranch house soon after the disappearance, said, "I think definitely that bedroom had been cleaned up, and there were things arranged on the dresser in such a manner that my mother would never have done. I knew my mother that well." Like there was probably a struggle and things got knocked off. Miss Blake, Mrs. Whatley's daughter by a previous marriage, was named as the missing woman's sole heir. The missing rancher, who had been married 5 times, had experienced domestic problems with his wife, who had been married twice before since their 1973 wedding. Nutt said he found a bundle of legal documents in a... Who's he talking about? Mrs. Blake, Mrs. Whatley's daughter by a previous marriage, was named the missing rancher, who had been married 5 times, had experienced domestic problems with his wife, the one right now? I mean, Faye? Who had been married twice before since their marriage in 1973. Yeah, okay. Nutt said he found a bundle of legal documents in a dry well shortly after the disappearance. He said they were unstained, indicating they had been placed there since the last rain, adding that they included divorce petitions Whatley had filed against Faye just 14 weeks after their marriage. What the hell? The difficulties had been worked out, Nutt said, and the divorce was dropped. The wealthy rancher, Nutt said, was... I'm glad we read this last article. This one's got everything in it. I mean, this is crazy. The wealthy rancher, Nutt said, was last seen by some pecan thrashers who told officers he was accompanied by a man convicted of burglary. The man is wanted in Florida for violating his probation, and Nutt never got to question him about the missing Whateleys. What? He was accompanied by a man convicted of burglary. The man is wanted in Florida for violating his probation, and Nutt never got to question him about the missing Whateleys. A lot of weird stuff going on that night. I mean... yeah, I mean, Jesus. What the hell is it? Let's see. There's a bullet hole. There's 2 bullets. One was in the window sill, but it couldn't have been from the same bullet that pierced the blind. So that was 2 different bullet shots. The house looked like it was cleaned up, and that might be why there's no blood or anything that you can see. And it looked like things were reorganized and placed on counters. You had a van driving away that evening. That's, you know, they were wondering if that was his biological son and sole heir. Then you had a I guess, you know, he tried to file divorce from his wife at the beginning, but they worked things out. And then these pecan thrashers saw him talking to a man that was convicted of burglary and then wanted in Florida. A lot of stuff going on now. Jeez. This one has a lot of stuff in it. It's like this is like his last ditch here. This is the last article I could find. So there you have it. There you have it. All right, you guys. Well, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you to Kelly Snyder. And then Ginger Keys, Alley Cat. Then Spud Smith upgraded to Megazoid. Thank you. And then Sandy Shirley gifted a membership. Then Alley Cat upgraded to Oogla Boogla Freak. Guess I missed that one. I'll put that in the over there too. Still can't spin. Have to spin maybe tomorrow sometime, hopefully. And then it's 8675309, Spud Smith, Plato, Linda Howell, Michelle H, Lisa Valenzuela, and 8675309. Then Rob Sand became a new member. Jay Case with the cat eye. Then Melissa Teal, Will Warren. Then Alex gifted 3 memberships. Then Judy Grandstand gifted 5. Then Jay Case gifted 5. And Lisa Valenzuela and Lisa Valenzuela. All right. Yeah, it seems like, well, the son is the one I was just wondering about, because women don't normally would kill for something like that, but maybe the daughter has somebody else that she was seeing, and you know, I don't know. I mean, $1,000 a month is, I guess it's not horrible back then, but I mean, it's not great either. I mean, I think, well, you know, if you think about it, $1,000 a month back then might have been about like $5,000 now, so I guess it wouldn't be too bad. But, you know, it's nowhere near what his dad got, right? Anyways, see how those are really interesting, those old ones, you guys? I think they're actually more interesting the way they're reported in the papers back then than anything today. They just, you know, the way they write now, it's like, yeah, you don't really get anything out of it. So, all right, you guys. Thank you for being here. We will see you tomorrow. And as I always say, and by the way, you guys, I don't want to keep talking about, oh, I'm trying to do something different, you know. All right, just let me move off into the future. All right, like every time you bring it up, we keep talking about stuff, and I just would rather, you know, move forward. All right, thank you. So that's it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all the people who supported the channel tonight. Appreciate it. And for those hitting the like button, we only got 183 likes. Pretty shitty. And we'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just
Just remember I've a temple fucking check-cha. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mary Lou. Oh, and good night, freaks. Be safe out there.